Hello, and welcome back. Today is going to be the first video back, really. Apologies for I said I was back and I kind of delayed some videos. I've been having a lot of issues with like recording on OBS and stuff like that. I've been getting like huge frame rate drops on loads of my recordings, so I've had to like delete a whole load of footage. So I literally had like barely any PvP, barely any PvE. Like that's the decent quality to kind of show and have in the background, and like it's kind of difficult to analyze when it's like a bit jumpy and stuff like that. But I seem to have gotten some stuff. This is a little bit jumpy. I'm going to be working with that with some kind of okay stuff over the next few days, and hopefully I fix the issue now. So I've got full raids for next week, as well as a considerable amount of PvP to do that I'm going to be getting some good stuff for. I'm going to do some RPG style things like that. But this video is going to be kind of a start for my zero to hero sort of chain, where I'm talking a bit more about PvE, comparing it to PvP, kind of talking about WoW in general, and like the different sort of mindsets that are involved in the two different ways to play the game and stuff like that. So uh, I recently started to do a lot of PvE, and this is because I recently joined my guild, the Guild Theory, which was a guild where my arena partner for TSG was part of. And I thought, why not? I'm going to give PvE a go. It was mainly as a challenge from my DK, who said like, yeah, you're good at PvP, but like if you come into PvE, it's like a completely different environment. You're not gonna be able to do it. Da 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 da. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck you. I'll come in and I'll just boss it, because like I'm good at PvP. So why shouldn't I be good at PvE? Because it's like, you think about it, it's like, oh, it should be easier. The first things that I came across a whole load of things when I came into PvE that I just didn't realize were going to be such big issues for starting off. But to really start off the conversation, when you look at PvE and you look at, I suppose, WoW as an MMO, you're like, what motivates you to play the game, and what do you want to get out of it? So I think you've got two huge camps where you got well, one's much bigger than the other. So if the PvE MMO players who are kind of playing it, they're like, I want my character to be strong. I want my character to be able to do more damage, do more things, like beat bosses and raid with like the guild. Or you have people like, I guess, role players who kind of want to, like, again, like you want to be a powerful, like powerful warrior. Or for me, be warrior or like mage or something like that, or be able to heal a lot, and you do that by getting more gear. And you get more gear through progressing through raids, and the more gear you get, the easier the raid gets, and the easier it is for you to do it and stuff like that. Whereas PvP, especially now, the gear is essentially nothing. It's just a number. It's an item upgrade. The item level doesn't really impact how you play in PvP that much at all, unless it's like a huge disparity, which doesn't really exist. And like all you're really motivated is by this rating and being able to say that you're better than other people. So there's like these two different motivations towards it, and they're quite different, and they kind of feel really different when you play them. I find PvE, I've got more patience. I can kind of, because if you're going into PvE, you kind of like, oh yeah, we're gonna wipe a few times, like you're kind of just chilling out, you're relaxing. It's less like super serious, I find. Like, I don't find it as difficult mechanically as I do PvP. Like, playing high rated PvP, like you're playing against people who are really, really good, and like you have to play really, really well to beat them, and like there's always this push, and it's always like really hard. Like I can, like if I'm playing like a huge queue session of threes, I'll end up like sweating a little bit or something like that. But I've never really had that with PvP. PvE, I guess I haven't done any mythic raiding yet or anything like that. But that's purely because I'm held back by my gear. I'm in a heroic at the moment with the guild, and I think we're on to Avatar this week. We're gonna try and get past him, and then on to Kill Jade and see how we go. But It's different. Like the things that hold me back in PVE is like stats. Um, Stats. All the rotations are different, so I've had to learn a whole load of different things. Um, the stuff that I thought was going to be the hardest ended up being the easiest. So like boss mechanics, you just look them up, you practice them once or twice, and you're like fine, like you know the boss mechanics. I guess that's harder for other people, but that's one of the things that I thought was just going to be the end of PvE is be like, oh, you know boss mechanics, boom, you win, like easy. That's what I thought it was going to be, but um, in reality, uh, your stats matter actually a huge amount. So like I was pulling like 500k DPS, even though I was item level 920. So it's a pretty reasonable item level. Like anyone who just looked at the item level would be like, oh, he'll be pulling like a million damage or something like that. But no, I was completely wrong statted. I didn't have like a 2-piece or a 4 set from like Nighthold, so I didn't have any of that coming in. And all the gear that I got from PvP had like versatility crit. Like versatility is an alright stat, but I mainly want I need some haste, I need some mastery. So I need to get haste like haste mastery strength, then versatility. So I just didn't have the correct stats at all. I think I had like under 10% haste, and then like my mastery wasn't very high because you just get the normal stat template for PvP, so I wasn't worried about it. So that was like a huge thing that I had to overcome. It's like, okay, now I've got to go and find out how to get good stats. What are my good stats? Sort out my rotation, because the rotations are different, or they're not so much more different for Arms Warrior anymore, because you can go the Ren build for both of them, and there's like a more AoE build for like Mythic pluses with the Whirlwind one, which I think Bajiro did a video on recently, which he used in BGs, which is still like a very like you can use it in PvP and it works. Like I did it accidentally in twos the other day and it worked quite well. But there's a lot of different things that are quite difficult in it, and you've got all your foods and all those various things. So there's a lot more knowledge, though I suppose not really. There's like different types of knowledge that you need to be aware of, and there's a lot more things that you need to do. There's a lot more grindy stuff. There's a lot more like paying attention to a stronger facet of things rather than just mechanics, because PvP is a purely mechanical like a arena. Like you got to be fast at your kicks, you got to know your rotation really well, you got to know line of sights and things like that. These are all just kind of just like advanced mechanics. It's like if a boss was just a super hard mechanical fight, but your DPS didn't necessarily, or like your stats didn't matter at all. Like you could just put on like item level 920 gear, just go in there. As long as you knew how to do everything and you did it correctly, then you'd win. Like if a boss is like that, then PvPers would probably be very good at it. Whereas it's actually, there's a considerable amount of things that I suppose add to what makes up the MMO, and it kind of gives you a bit extra to the game that you don't really get in PvP. And I think it's really quite fun to do and quite fun to do. I think if you only PvP, I definitely recommend giving a go at going into a raid. Try and like maybe join a guild that has a small PvP aspect and they need some PvPers. And you're like, okay, I can PvP, and you help them do some RBGs here on the side, help a couple of people in arenas, stuff like that, while they help you in your PvE, because it's quite fun to take a break, take a step back, not burn yourself out in PvP, and kind of just get in and meet new people and try and share your experiences in the game with other experiences, and kind of just try and enjoy yourself a bit more with it. Because over the last couple of weeks with me raiding, I've had a lot of fun doing it. You kind of get this new, oh, there's more to the game, rather than just sitting there in LFG trying to find somebody who's like a similar CR to you and EXP and things like that, and just like grinding out stuff. So I think definitely give it a go. It's very different. I'm gonna bring some more updates on like how I'm doing with stuff. If I come across anything, if we manage to kill Jaden on heroic, things like that, I'll bring you that. Kind of show that, talk over it, things like that. But I think this is kind of just an update video, kind of talk about PVE, that I'm actually enjoying it, that I'm doing that. I'll obviously I'm gonna stream like my raids. Like I'm gonna stream tomorrow's raid. I'm gonna stream probably all of the week's raids if I can. And then obviously I'll be doing some like RPGs and stuff like that, arena streams as well, but also some arena videos. And as well, like if you're wanting to practice a rotation, this is one of the better places to do it, as long as you're using the same rotation. That and 2v2 arenas, but I'll talk about that a bit more in another video. So I appreciate you all, and thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again in the future. Maybe on Twitch, maybe here. Give it a like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't. Kind of comment if you want to see this again, if you want to see something else, all various things. I appreciate the help. Peace.